So, as I say, third-party harassment is the second piece to the legislation come October. But what does that mean in practice? So, third-party harassment happens when a worker experiences unwanted conduct of a sexual nature from someone who is not a colleague, but it could be a client, a customer, a contractor. And again, we've listed out here who could be considered a third party, and you can see it's all encompassing. So come October, employers are legally required to take all reasonable steps to prevent these external individuals from sexually harassing their staff while at work. So for many organisations, and particularly those that we work with in the creative space and in client-facing sectors, this is likely to be one of the most challenging aspects of the legislation. Most employers have got a reasonable degree of control over their own employees. We can train them, we can manage, we can investigate, and we can hold people to account. What they don't control are the clients or the freelancers, the suppliers, or other external stakeholders. Yeah, in many businesses, these are often the people that employees can interact with the most day to day. And like I say, and a lot of the clients that we work with, and in many organisations, work can often happen during client pitches, productions, shoots, networking events, client dinners and lunches, and even more social settings. And those environments naturally can involve blurred professional boundaries. They can have power imbalances, and they can have commercial pressures. And due to all of those factors, employees can often find themselves asking, do I challenge this person? Do I say something? Would I damage the client relationship if I raise this? And really importantly, would my employer support me if I raise that? And that uncertainty is where risk sits. So the legislation isn't saying that employers must control every action of every third party, because that's unrealistic. But what it is saying is that employers need to think proactively about any foreseeable risks in these types of situations and take preventative steps. So what that means is, do our managers know how to intervene in the moment that something may occur? Does an employee know how to report any concerns that do involve clients or contractors or any third party contact? Have we set out the behavioural expectations clearly to external parties? Have we reviewed high risk environments such as events or productions? And then have we taken steps to mitigate those risks? And have we also made sure there are really clear escalation routes where concerns arise? A really practical step that we've taken at Journey with our clients and ourselves is ensuring that any supplier agreement, consultant contract, and client-facing terms explicitly referenced our dignity at work expectations. And that serves two purposes. Firstly, it's really explicit what we expect in terms of behaviour. And secondly, it's demonstrating that we've proactively considered third-party conduct and we're communicating our standards before anything occurs. And from an evidence perspective, that's exactly the type of proactive step employers should be considering under all reasonable steps. Another key question that I think is really important here when we think about third-party harassment, particularly, as I say, in client-facing organisations, is leaders should be thinking to themselves, if an employee reported inappropriate behaviour by one of our most, commercially valuable clients tomorrow, would they feel confident that we would back them? So are we creating a culture, a speak-up culture that does empower our employees to come forward with any concerns? Because that really is where the legislation will be tested.